This on-demand training deals with emergency preparedness and the steps you should take in order to keep your family safe when disasters happen. The Central Oregon Disability Support Network, or CODSN, is a nonprofit offering peer-delivered support to children and families. All CODSN staff and board are family members or people who experience disabilities themselves. We understand the challenges you face, and we want you to be prepared in the event of emergencies. We serve 8 rural Oregon counties, which include Deschutes, Crook, Jefferson, Lake, Klamath, Wheeler, Grant, and Harney counties. Please listen carefully and take notes, but feel free to pause this video at any time if you need a break or there are distractions. CODSN offers several services and programs, focusing mainly on assisting children with disabilities and their families in navigating different systems and providing them with resources and referrals. To learn more about the specific programs and services we provide, we encourage you to visit our website, www.codsn.org. If you need assistance or have any inquiries, please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly. You can call our office at 541-548-8559 or email us at info@codsn.org.
The agenda for this training is as follows. First, we'll discuss how to enroll in emergency alerts as well as the possible types of emergencies to be prepared for. We'll cover possible things you can do in both go and stay emergencies and explain what should be included in your emergency plans. We'll talk about the contents of emergency go and stay kits. Next, we want to address your specific support needs. And finally, we'll cover the next steps you should take. Some of the words and terms you'll hear in this training include emergency, a serious, unexpected, and often dangerous situation requiring immediate action. Emergency alerts are short emergency messages from authorized federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial public alerting authorities that can be broadcast from cell towers to any mobile device in a locally targeted area. Stay or shelter in place means finding a safe location indoors and staying there until you are given an all clear or told to evacuate. Go or evacuate means to leave a building, your home, or other place because it is no longer safe. We are going to follow these 4 steps. Get informed means learn what type of emergencies are most likely in your area and what resources are likely available during these situations. Learn how to access different forms of emergency alert communications as part of getting informed. Make a plan, where you'll make emergency plans that help you calmly take action when the need arises. Make a kit. We'll help you identify items to have ready regardless if you stay sheltered in place at home or if you need to evacuate immediately. Stay informed. Learn ways to stay up to date on the status of emergencies so that you can make the best decisions for yourself and your family in order to stay safe. Let's talk about getting informed. As we introduce this section, we want to share an excellent resource that we put together. It not only helps you get informed, but actually covers all aspects of emergency preparedness. And that's our collection of 25 emergency preparedness videos. Let's take a look at this short introductory video, and then we'll return to the training. Emergency preparedness refers to the steps you take to make sure that you and your family are safe before, during, and after an emergency or a natural disaster. In this video series, we will educate and hopefully motivate you to take action on your own emergency preparedness. It's important to understand what kind of disasters or emergencies are most likely to occur in your location, and then take steps to prepare in case one or more of these events happens to you or your family. For example, in Central Oregon, the most likely emergencies we might experience are wind, including thunderstorms and even tornadoes, winter storms, including snow and ice, extreme cold, extended power outages, wildfires and house fires, excessive heat, earthquakes and volcanoes, pandemics, and civil unrest. Getting informed also includes learning where and how to find local resources, which might include things like emergency shelters, food banks, medical facilities, evacuation routes, and so on. After getting informed, it's time to put together your emergency plan. Now, we're going to guide you through this process using an easy step-by-step approach. Many people procrastinate about putting their emergency preparedness plans together until, of course, it's too late. Now, we don't know when an emergency might happen, so doesn't it make sense to take action on your plan sooner than later? You'll learn how to make go and stay kits. We'll teach you how to put together emergency kits for various scenarios. For example, a stay kit is what you'll put together if an emergency arises that requires you to stay at home or shelter in place. We'll show you what items to include in a go kit so you'll be prepared even if you only have minutes to get out of your house. We'll cover things important to have in your vehicle, or things to bring if you have pets. We'll also cover those important items to include if you or someone in your household has special needs. And finally, we all know that change is just a part of life, so in order to maintain a good level of preparedness, we don't just make a plan and forget it. We need to stay informed about those things that might impact our health and safety. So we'll teach you a variety of ways to stay up to date, and we'll provide links to some great emergency preparedness resources. So let's take a look. We need to 1. Get informed, 2. Make a plan, 3. Build a kit, and 4. Stay informed. We'll break these topics down into simple to follow, bite-sized videos that you can easily navigate in order to save time. When emergencies happen, it is very important to remain as calm as possible so that you can make good life-saving decisions in times of crisis. And being prepared with the necessary items, information, and a plan is crucial in helping people make good decisions. And we are happy to provide this critical life-saving information to you in these videos. But beyond this education, it is very important that you take action on your and your family's emergency preparedness right away. So we'll see you in the next video. One important way that we get informed is through emergency alerts. Here are the alerts we suggest you sign up for. The first service we recommend is the FEMA app. The FEMA app is a personalized disaster resource that provides real-time weather and emergency alerts from the National Weather Service for up to 5 locations nationwide. It can also help you find a nearby shelter if you need to evacuate to a safe space. In addition to our resources that we'll introduce you to today, this app can also help you learn basic preparedness strategies like how to create a family emergency communication plan, what to pack in your emergency kits, and what to do immediately after a disaster. First, you'll locate and install the FEMA app from your App Store or Play Store. Make sure you allow notifications. Choose either English or Spanish. Type in your first name and click Next. Type in your zip code and click Next. Select your city and then click Next. Then you'll click on Get Started. You are all set. From this point, you will receive FEMA alerts on your phone. Now take some time to explore this app. The next service we recommend is the Hero Kids Registry, which is a registry for children up until the age of 26. It's online and takes between 30 minutes to an hour to fill out. So we'll show you how to access this service and how to get your application started today. First, you'll visit the website herokidsregistry.com and then you'll click Register. You are giving first responder information, as much or as little as you want, about your child when you're filling out this application. Once you complete the sign-up, you will be sent a tag that can be put on a stay or go kit and a registry number that we recommend you put on your refrigerator. The next service we recommend is your county's emergency alert system. OR Alert is an effort to ensure statewide access to receiving alerts, warnings, and notifications, enabling real-time sharing of hazard information across Oregon's 36 counties and tribal governments. First, you'll visit oralert.gov on your phone or computer. Type in your city, county, or zip code. Select your county. Click Sign Up for New Account. Click OK. Fill out your name, username, password, and security question. Here you'll fill out your address. And then you'll type in your contact information, as this is how you will receive your alerts, either a text number or email or both, and you're all set. One very important element in all aspects of emergency preparedness is how to stay calm in an emergency. While this might be easier said than done, here are some valuable tips to help you. Often, as caregivers and parents, we are the first responders in emergency situations. When it's your own family, it may seem even more difficult to remain calm. We suggest you visualize yourself in these situations, talking in a calm voice, having a plan, and making sure your number one priority is safety. Breathe. Take a deep, cleansing breath. Move safely with purpose. Realize you will have to act quickly, but running around fast and scared doesn't help anyone. Talking in a calm voice helps everyone around you not to panic. Take other trainings that your county might offer. And of course, by getting informed, you will be more prepared in emergencies and can respond more calmly. So watch the videos in our Emergency Preparedness Library. Let's start by getting informed about different types of emergencies that could affect us here in Central Oregon and whether you should stay or go in that kind of emergency. While an emergency is occurring, evaluating your situation is key. Many of these emergencies could be go or stay emergencies, or possibly begin as a stay emergency that evolves into a scenario where you'll need to leave. It is important to listen to your local emergency preparedness authorities and local alert systems. That's who will most likely be sending out alerts in your area. Here's a list of reasons to consider staying in place versus evacuating. For staying in place or sheltering in, number one is safety. If your current location is secure and away from immediate danger, staying put may be the safest option. Familiarity. You are familiar with the surroundings, which could be advantageous for navigation and resource access. Supplies. You have a well-stocked shelter with necessary supplies, including food, water, first aid, and communication equipment. Community. Staying in your community can provide support from neighbors and local resources. Medical needs. If you or someone in your group has medical needs that require ongoing care and access to medical facilities, staying put may be the better option. Weather. Leaving may expose you to harsh weather conditions, while staying in your shelter provides protection. Transportation. If you lack reliable transportation or the evacuation route is compromised, staying in place may be the only viable option. Security. Your home or shelter can be fortified and secured to better protect against potential threats. Pets and livestock. If you have animals that cannot easily be transported, staying in place may be more suitable. Now let's look at some tips for go emergencies or evacuating. Immediate threat. If your current location is under immediate threat, example, flooding, wildfire, chemical spills, and so forth, evacuation is usually the safest option. Lack of resources. If your current location lacks the resources needed for survival, example, food, water, medical supplies, it may be necessary to leave. Communication breakdown. If you lose communication with the outside world and cannot receive information or assistance, leaving may be the only choice. Evacuation orders. Local authorities issue evacuation orders for a reason, and it's crucial to follow their guidance. Escape from violence or conflict. If you are in a danger zone due to violence, civil unrest, or warfare, leaving is often the best option. Mobile shelter. If you have a well-equipped evacuation vehicle or a portable shelter, you can be more self-reliant while on the move. Ultimately, the decision to stay in place or go depends on the specifics of the emergency, your level of preparedness, and your assessment of the risks involved. It's often recommended to have a well-thought-out emergency plan that includes both options, staying or going, with clear criteria for when to implement each strategy. Additionally, staying informed through local authorities and emergency services is crucial for making the right decision in a timely manner. Let's talk about some of the most likely emergencies that could happen to us here in Central Oregon. Let's begin with earthquakes. During and after an earthquake, it's crucial to prioritize your safety and the safety of those around you. Here are some steps to follow. During an earthquake, drop, cover, and hold on. If you are indoors when the shaking begins, drop to the ground to prevent being knocked over. Take cover under a sturdy piece of furniture like a table and hold on until the shaking stops. This helps protect you from falling objects and debris. If you are unable to drop to the ground due to mobility reasons, duck as much as possible while covering your head and neck with a pillow, for example. Stay indoors. If you are indoors, stay there. Do not run outside during the shaking, as falling debris can be very dangerous. Stay away from windows. Glass can shatter during an earthquake, so move away from windows, mirrors, and anything that could break and cause injury. If you are outdoors, move to an open area away from buildings, trees, streetlights, and utility wires to avoid falling objects. If you're in a vehicle, pull over to a safe spot away from buildings, trees, and overpasses. Stay in the vehicle until the shaking stops. If you're in bed, stay there and protect your head with a pillow if possible. Avoid elevators. Do not use elevators during an earthquake as they may get stuck or malfunction. After an earthquake, you'll want to check for injuries. First and foremost, check yourself and those around you for injuries. Provide basic first aid if necessary. Be prepared for aftershocks. Aftershocks are smaller earthquakes that can follow the main quake. Stay alert and be prepared for more shaking. Assess your surroundings. Look for hazards like gas leaks, damaged electrical wires, or structural damage. If you smell gas, turn it off at the source and leave the building. Use a battery-powered or rechargeable radio if you have one to listen for emergency instructions and updates. Text. Don't call. After a major earthquake, phone lines can be overwhelmed. Use text messaging instead of making calls to communicate with loved ones. Help others. Check on neighbors and assist those who may require help, especially the elderly, disabled, or those with young children. Evacuate if necessary. If your building is severely damaged or if local authorities instruct you to evacuate, do so promptly. Be cautious of potential structural hazards when leaving. Have an emergency kit. It's essential to have an emergency kit with water, non-perishable food, a flashlight, batteries, first aid kit, and other essential supplies. Later in this training, we'll provide a list of items to include in a basic Go kit. Extended power outages might be one of the most common emergencies, as they can happen due to a variety of reasons and disasters. During a power outage, it's important to follow certain guidelines to ensure your safety and comfort. Here is a list of what to do and what not to do. We'll begin with what to do during a power outage. Number 1, stay calm. First and foremost, remain calm and reassure others in your household, especially children. You'll want to confirm that the power is actually out. You can do this by checking your breaker panel, as well as looking for other lights in your neighborhood. Use flashlights. Using flashlights or battery-powered lanterns for lighting, preferably instead of candles to reduce risk of fire. If you must use candles, place them in stable holders and never leave them unattended. Check for safety. Inspect your immediate surroundings for any hazards caused by the outage, such as fires, gas leaks, or downed power lines. If you detect any of these dangers, leave the area and call emergency services. Conserve battery power. Use your mobile devices sparingly to preserve their battery life. If possible, have backup power sources like portable chargers available. Stay informed. Keep a battery-operated or hand-crank radio on hand to receive updates on your situation from the local authorities and emergency services. You'll also want to minimize opening the refrigerator and freezer. To keep perishable food items cold, limit the number of times you open your refrigerator and freezer. Unplug appliances. Unplug sensitive electronic devices and appliances to protect them from power surges when the electricity is restored. Secure your home. Lock all doors and windows, and if necessary, use a backup power source for your home security system. Stay warm. In cold weather, dress in warm clothing, use blankets, and huddle in one room to conserve heat. Avoid using unsafe heating sources like unvented gas stoves or generators indoors. Stay hydrated. Ensure you have an adequate supply of drinking water, as water pumps may not work during a power outage. Communicate. Keep in touch with family members and neighbors to check on their well-being. Share information and pool resources if needed. Follow instructions. Pay attention to any evacuation orders, advice, or instructions provided by local authorities. Now here's what not to do during a power outage. First, don't panic. Avoid panicking or making impulsive decisions that could put you or others at risk. Don't use fuel generators indoors. Never operate a generator inside your home or garage. Generators should be placed outside and away from doors, windows, and vents to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, this applies to generators that use fuel like gas, diesel, or propane, whereas solar generators, which are essentially large battery banks, can be used indoors. Don't leave candles unattended. If you are using candles, do not leave them unattended and keep them away from flammable materials. Don't drive unless necessary. Traffic lights may be out, and the roads can be dangerous during an outage. Only drive if it's absolutely necessary. Don't consume perishable food. If you're unsure about the safety of your food, avoid consuming perishable items that may have spoiled during the outage. Don't assume it will be short. Always prepare for the possibility that the power outage may last longer than expected. By following these do's and don'ts during a power outage, you can help ensure your safety. You can conserve resources and be better prepared to handle the situation until the power is restored. Although a power outage is likely a stay emergency initially, if it's extended, you might need to go for a variety of reasons. In extreme heat or cold, if you've run out of water and food, if there is a medical or even a sanitation emergency. Essentially, if it's no longer safe to stay in the house, it's time to go. If you have a backup supply of water, food, and other emergency supplies, you may be able to stay in place for much longer than someone who isn't prepared. Pandemics. A pandemic is initially considered a stay emergency until it is no longer safe for several important reasons. The term stay emergency in this context implies that people are encouraged to remain at home and limit their movement, as this will help mitigate the spread of the virus and protect public health. Here's why a pandemic is typically a stay emergency. First is preventing transmission. The primary goal of the early stages of a pandemic is to limit the transmission of the infectious agent, such as a virus, from person to person. Staying at home and minimizing social interactions can significantly reduce the spread of the disease. Next is for protecting vulnerable populations. Some individuals, particularly the elderly and those with underlying health conditions, are at higher risk of severe illness or death from a pandemic virus. Staying home and limiting interactions reduces the risk of exposure to vulnerable populations. Personal health concerns. If an individual becomes infected or experiences severe symptoms or complications, seeking medical attention or hospitalization may be required. Emergency situations. Pandemics can coincide with other emergencies, for example, natural disasters, that make staying at home unsafe. In such cases, evacuation may be necessary. Here is a list of things to do during a pandemic. First, do pay attention to your television, radio, and emergency apps for information and instruction from authorities like the state or county Department of Public Health. Do stay at home unless you truly need to go out. Do wear a mask over your nose and mouth if you have to leave the house. Do wash your hands often. Do cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when sneezing or coughing. Do avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Do practice other good health habits like getting plenty of sleep. Be physically active, manage your stress, drink plenty of fluids, and eat nutritious foods. And do see a doctor if you feel flu-like symptoms, which are things like high temperature, vomiting, sneezing, coughing, or body chills. In summary, a pandemic is typically a stay emergency in the early stages to control the spread of the virus and protect public health. However, the transition to a not safe to stay emergency may depend on factors such as healthcare system capacity, individual health, government mandates, and the presence of additional emergency situations. It's important to follow the guidance from public health authorities and adapt your actions as the situation evolves. Let's move on to another potential emergency in Central Oregon, which is extreme weather, and that could be hot or cold. And it's generally a stay emergency unless you are not safe where you either can't get cool enough or stay warm enough at your location. Staying warm during a winter power outage is essential for your safety and comfort. Here are some tips to help you stay warm in such situations. Layer clothing. Wear multiple layers of clothing to trap heat close to your body. Start with a moisture-wicking base layer to keep sweat away from your skin, followed by insulating layers like fleece or wool, and top it off with a waterproof or windproof outer layer. Blankets and sleeping bags. Use blankets, sleeping bags, or thermal wraps to keep warm. Sleeping bags are particularly effective as they are designed to trap heat. Lighting. We highly recommend LED lanterns for light. You can use candles to provide a source of heat and light, but be cautious with open flames and never leave them unattended. A portable heater. If you have a portable propane or kerosene heater, use it in a well-ventilated area to provide localized heat. Make sure the heater is designed to use indoors and to follow safety instructions. Insulate windows and doors. Seal any drafts around windows and doors with towels, blankets, plastic, or draft stoppers to prevent cold air from entering your home. Close off unused rooms. Close doors to rooms that you're not using to reduce the area that you need to heat. Use body heat. Huddle together with family members or pets to share body heat and stay warm. You can snuggle under blankets or sleeping bags for added warmth. Emergency generators. If you have a backup generator, use it sparingly to power essential appliances such as a space heater or an electric blanket. Now remember to use a gas power generator outside only. And again, a solar generator can be used inside. Check on vulnerable neighbors. If possible, check on elderly or vulnerable neighbors to ensure they are staying safe and warm. And you'll want to plan ahead. Be prepared for power outages by having emergency supplies on hand, including flashlights, extra batteries, non-perishable food, and a battery-operated weather radio. Now remember, safety is paramount during a winter power outage. You'll want to avoid using gas stoves or charcoal grills indoors for heating, as they can produce dangerous carbon monoxide fumes. If the power outage is prolonged and temperatures become dangerously low, consider seeking shelter at a community warming center or with friends or family who have power. Now we'll talk about staying cool during an extreme heat power outage, and this is crucial for your safety and comfort. Here are some tips to help you stay cool in such a situation. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. Dehydration can worsen the effects of heat, so make sure that you have an adequate supply of clean water. In many locations, the water at the tap might no longer work if the power is out, so have containers of water stored in your house. Use cooling methods. You can wet clothing, soak a cloth or towel in cool water and place it on your forehead, neck, or wrists to help lower your body temperature. Fans. Battery-operated or hand-crank fans can provide some relief. If you have a car with air conditioning, use it sparingly to cool down. Cooling towels. Consider using cooling towels or bandanas, which you can wet and wear around your neck or head. Spray bottles. Spraying yourself with a fine mist of water and in addition to a battery-powered fan can really help keep your skin cool. Stay in the coolest part of your house. Seek refuge there if possible. Limit physical activity. Avoid strenuous activities and rest as much as possible to reduce the generation of body heat. Keep windows closed. During the hottest part of the day, keep windows and curtains closed to block out direct sunlight. Open windows in the evening and early morning to let in cool air. Wear loose, light clothing. Choose lightweight, loose-fitting, and light-colored clothing to help your body stay cool. Stay informed. Keep updated on weather conditions and power outage updates through a battery-operated or hand-crank radio or a fully charged mobile phone if their mobile service is still available. Seek shelter. If it becomes too unbearable or dangerous, consider seeking shelter at a cooling center or a friend or family member's home with power, or a public place like a library or a shopping mall. And stay safe. Be cautious of the signs of heat-related illnesses, such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke. If you or someone you're with shows symptoms like dizziness, confusion, rapid heartbeat, or fainting, seek medical help immediately. Remember that extreme heat without power can be life-threatening, so it's important to prioritize your health and well-being during such conditions. Take precautions and stay as cool and hydrated as possible until the power is restored. Watch our video about extreme heat and winter storms for more details on what to do during these events. Again, these extreme weather events will generally start as a stay-in-place emergency, even if the power is out, as we are often better off in our shelter as long as we have supplies. If it becomes unsafe to stay in place, you may need to evacuate. We recommend using tripcheck.com to check on the road conditions like snow, ice, and flooding so that you can take the safest route. Flood is a go emergency unless it's not safe to go. When heavy or steady rain soaks the ground over several hours or days, floods may occur. Floods are one of the most common hazards in the country. Their effects can be local or they can affect an entire part of the state. Depending on the amount of rainfall, the level of ground saturation, and the location of rivers and streams, Floods may develop slowly over a period of days, but flash floods can occur suddenly due to quick rising water along streams or low-lying areas. If you are experiencing a flood, here are some things to do. Do get informed by listening to local radio or television channels for emergency messages and instructions. Do unplug electrical appliances. Shut off electrical circuits and gas service if authorities tell you to leave your home. If your car stalls out during a flood, do get out of your car immediately. Leave it where it is and do your best to get to higher ground. And here are some things not to do during a flood. If at all possible, do not walk in water that has come into your basement or garage. Do not try to drive on a flooded road unless absolutely necessary. Do not walk in moving water. If you must walk through flood waters, make sure it is not moving and check how deep it is with a stick. Do not go near water that is touching power lines that may have fallen. Do not allow children to play around high water, storm drains, or any flooded areas. You can learn more by watching our video about flooding. Wildfire is a go emergency unless it is not safe to go, so pay close attention to alerts and evacuation orders and follow any recommended evacuation routes. There are several potential disasters in addition to wildfire that can cause extremely bad air quality that is unhealthy to breathe. These can include industrial, chemical, or even nuclear accidents. Here are some general steps you can take to stay safe in an air quality emergency. Stay informed. Monitor local news, weather, and air quality reports to stay updated on the situation. Use reliable sources like government agencies or reputable weather apps. Limit outdoor activities. Avoid outdoor activities, especially strenuous exercise when air quality is poor, and keep children and elderly family members indoors. Stay indoors. If air quality is hazardous, stay inside as much as possible. Ensure your home is well sealed to prevent outside air from entering. If available, use air purifiers with HEPA filters to improve indoor air quality. Make sure you close windows and doors. Keep these windows and doors closed to prevent outdoor pollutants from entering your home. Use N95 masks. If you need to go outside, wear an N95 or higher-rated respirator to protect your lungs from harmful particles. Ensure a proper fit for the mask to be effective. Create a clean room. Designate a room in your home as a clean room and use a portable air purifier if possible. Seal any gaps around the windows and doors with weather stripping or tape. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water to help your body cope with the stress of poor air quality. Evacuate if necessary. If authorities issue evacuation orders, follow them promptly. And check on vulnerable populations. Ensure the well-being of children, the elderly, and those with respiratory conditions who may be more vulnerable. It's crucial to adopt these steps to the specific air quality emergency and guidance provided by local authorities. Always prioritize your safety and that of your loved ones during such situations. Make a plan. The State of Oregon and FEMA with the Ready.gov website recommend you have a family communications plan, an evacuation or a go plan, and a shelter-in-place or a stay plan. Watch our videos on detailed information about each of these types of plans and how to put them together. We recommend this Stay Go Kit book or something like it as a guide, as it's going to help you combine all of the information for these plans together in one place. You can also use a notebook, or better yet, a 3-ring binder, as you can add additional pages and even use plastic sleeves to hold documents, photos, etc. We'll take some time right now to walk through this particular book in order to help you understand what information you need to gather and get organized so you can put these plans together. If you have this book, Great. If not, that's okay, but please take notes and also feel free to pause the video at any point. Some may even want to take screenshots, which can be helpful. We begin with contact information, where you'll identify primary and secondary contacts, children information, and even a section for your pets. The next section is for emergency numbers like doctor, pharmacist, veterinarians, as well as contact info for family and friends who are both in and out of the area. It also includes a space to identify family meetup areas. If your home is not safe and family members are not together when the emergency happens, they'll all know where to find each other. Identify medications for each family member, along with a place to put copies of medication lists from your pharmacist. If you don't have a book like this, here's where a plastic sleeve and a 3-ring binder can be helpful. Here is a sleeve to add additional family information. Consider putting a USB flash drive in here that contains important data. Here, this book includes a list of items to include in a go bag in this section and a stay kit in this section. Now, we'll cover items for go and stay kits in detail later in this training. To finish up with this book, we see that it actually has a 2-sided door hanger tag that either shows responders that you're okay or that you need help. Here again, if you don't have this book, think about how you can create a sign to put on your door. While we have videos that cover each of these plans in detail, here are 3 important things to remember. First, it may be easier to text instead of calling friends and family to initiate your go or stay plan. When calls don't work, sometimes text messages can go through. Next, have 2 meetup spots for evacuation, one in your neighborhood and one outside of your area. After your family meets up, you can go to the evacuation center or your planned stay location. A go emergency refers to the process of leaving your home or your current location during an emergency or a crisis situation. This may include situations like natural disasters, civil unrest, or other circumstances where staying at home is not safe or feasible. Here are some general steps to consider if you need to leave. Always stay informed. Keep yourself informed about the situation. Listen to official updates on the radio, watch the news, or follow local authorities' instructions. Have emergency go kits ready to go. Have go bags that include essential supplies that we'll cover here shortly. Be sure to include items for your family and pets if applicable. Plan your destination. Determine where you'll go. This could be a friend or family member's home, an emergency shelter, or a pre-established bug-out location. Ensure that the destination is safer than your current location. You'll need to have maps of the area, especially if you need to find alternative routes. GPS devices can be helpful, but also have physical maps as a backup in case the phone service is down. We recommend tripcheck.com here in Oregon, as well as having a paper map on hand. Communication. Have a communication plan in place. Make sure family members know where to meet and how to stay in touch if you get separated. A common meeting point or a designated contact person might be very helpful. Transportation. Ensure you have reliable transportation. Keep your vehicle in good working condition and keep the gas tank filled as much as possible. In case of evacuation orders, authorities might designate evacuation routes. Maps and navigation. This is so important we'll cover it again. Have physical paper maps of the area, especially if you need to find alternative routes. Cash. Carry some cash in small denominations. In some emergency situations, ATMs or electronic payment systems may not work. Secure your home. If time allows, secure your home by locking doors and windows. Turn off utilities like gas, electricity, water, if you're instructed to do so, or even if you're not. It may be a very important thing to do. Evacuate early. If there's an official evacuation order, try to leave as early as possible. Roads can get congested and leaving late can be dangerous. Adapt to the situation. Be prepared to adapt to changing circumstances. Your initial go plan might need to change based on what's happening. Remember that leaving your shelter is a serious decision, and it should not be taken lightly. It's essential to plan ahead, be organized, and stay as safe as possible during any emergency situation. So tailor your go plan to your specific circumstances and type of emergency that you might face. For a stay emergency. Well, a stay emergency typically means you should stay in your current location, as leaving could be more dangerous. Here are steps to take during a stay emergency. Again and always, number 1 is stay informed. Keep yourself informed about the situation. Listen to official updates on the radio, watch the news, follow your local authorities' instructions. Use multiple sources to verify information if you're confused. Prepare your shelter. Make sure your home is secure and able to withstand a specific emergency you're facing. For example, if it's a storm, ensure your windows and doors are securely closed and have emergency supplies readily available. Create a safe area. Designate a safe area within your home. In case of certain emergencies, such as tornadoes or chemical spills, it's essential to have a safe place without windows, ideally on the ground floor. Emergency kits. Have an emergency kit on hand. Essentially, be sure to have enough supplies to last for an extended period. Communication. Keep communication devices charged and within easy reach. This includes cell phones, two-way radios, emergency alert radios, or any other means of contacting help. Make sure to have a backup power source for charging devices. Family and pet plans. Ensure your family members know the emergency plan. Discuss where to go within the home if you need to take shelter. Also include plans for your pet's safety and well-being. Stay calm. Stay calm and reassure other family members. Panic can make an emergency situation worse. Utilities. Be prepared to shut off utilities if needed. In some emergencies, such as gas leaks, electrical or water issues, you may need to turn off the gas, electricity, or water. Ventilation. In case of wildfire smoke, chemical or biological hazards, close all doors and windows to minimize exposure. Recovery. After the emergency has passed, follow local authorities' instructions for recovery and any necessary cleanup or repairs. Remember that staying during an emergency can be just as critical as evacuating in some situations. It's essential to follow official guidance, stay well prepared, and ensure the safety and well-being of your family and yourself while you're hunkering down. What we recommend including in your go and stay kits. Remember, these two kits are designed to be stored together. Some of the recommended items can be used for both a stay and a go emergency. Make sure you keep these together in a cool, dry place in your home where they can be easily grabbed if needed. Again, we encourage you to watch our videos that cover each of these kits in detail. Creating an emergency go kit is essential for being prepared in case of disasters or emergencies. The contents of your kit can and will vary depending on your needs and circumstances. Each family member should have their own go kit backpack. Here is a list of basic items to include in a go or an evacuation kit. Aim for at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 3 days. For one person, that would be at least 3 gallons. This is for both drinking and sanitation. Non-perishable food. Pack a 3-day supply of non-perishable food, such as freeze-dried meals, canned goods, energy bars, dried fruits and nuts. But don't forget a manual can opener. emergency radio to stay informed about the situation. First aid kit. A basic first aid kit should include bandages, antiseptic wipes, adhesive tape, pain relievers, scissors, tweezers, and any necessary prescription medications. Clothing and blankets. Include a change of clothes and sturdy shoes, as well as blankets or sleeping bags for warmth. Hygiene supplies. Include personal hygiene items like soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, hand sanitizer, and feminine hygiene products. Flashlights and batteries. Have a flashlight with extra batteries or rechargeable lights. Consider a hand crank or solar-powered flashlight for long-term reliability. A multi-tool. A versatile tool that can be handy in various situations. And a whistle which can be used to signal for help. Dust masks or N95 respirator masks can help filter the air you breathe if there is dust, debris, or some other airborne contaminants. Important documents. Keep copies of important documents like identification, insurance policies, medical records, and bank account information in a waterproof container. Cash. Have some cash in small denominations, as ATMs may not be accessible during emergencies. Local maps. Again, as we've said, include local paper maps to help you navigate if GPS is not available. A cell phone with a charger. A charged cell phone can be a vital communication tool during emergencies. Children's and special needs supplies. If you have infants or small children, include items such as baby food, diapers, and comfort items. Matches or lighter. These can be used for starting fires, which may be necessary for warmth or cooking. Remember to customize your kit to meet the specific needs of your family, taking into account any medical conditions, dietary restrictions, do you have pets or livestock, and entertainment items like books, puzzles, or playing cards, for example, as these can help pass the time and reduce stress during an emergency. And of course, consider the climate in your area so that you can include appropriate clothing. You'll want to periodically check and refresh the contents of your emergency go kit to ensure everything is up to date and in working order. Keep these kits in an easily accessible location so they're ready to grab and go in emergencies. Now we'll cover the basic items to include for a stay kit. An emergency stay kit, often referred to as a stay-at-home or shelter-in-place kit, is essential for preparing for various emergencies that may require you to remain in your home for an extended period. Many of these items are the same as in a go kit, just more quantity in many cases. In addition to the items in a go kit, include more of the following. More water. For example, have enough water on hand for at least 3 weeks. And again, this is for drinking and sanitation. Non-perishable food. And here again, we try to have at least 3 weeks' worth on hand. Flashlights. Include additional light sources in your stay kit. First aid kit. For your stay-home first aid kit, don't skimp. Include additional supplies to last for several days or weeks. Hygiene and sanitation supplies. For your stay kit, include additional toilet paper, moist towelettes, hand sanitizers, and personal hygiene items. Watch our video on emergency toileting to learn what to do if your water utility is no longer working. Remember, sanitation is extremely important. Blankets and warm clothing. Include more warm clothing and blankets if possible. Pet supplies. If you have pets, include food, water, and other supplies for their care to last for at least 3 weeks, but preferably longer. Entertainment. Books, games, and activities to keep yourself and family occupied during downtime. Chargers and batteries. Include even more batteries for your devices. Special needs items. If you have infants elderly family members, or anyone with special needs, ensure that you have the necessary supplies. You'll want a way to safely cook at home when there is no power. Barbecues and camp stoves are great when the power is out, but be careful not to use these indoors as they can produce carbon monoxide. Fire extinguishers. A small fire extinguisher for small fires is a must. Duct tape and plastic sheeting, in case you need to seal off a room from contaminants. It's important to customize your stay-at-home kit to meet your specific needs and consider any regional or personal factors that may be relevant. Remember to regularly check and update the kit to ensure that items are still in good condition and that supplies haven't expired. Also, make sure your family is familiar with the contents of the kit and knows where it is stored. We recommend storing your stay kit right alongside of your go kits. Now we're going to chat about some of the items that are not in these basic kits that you might require for specific support needs. Medication. Do you need a special container or refrigeration? Glasses. Do you have an extra pair? Batteries. Do you have the appropriate types of batteries on hand, for example, for hearing aids? Tools. To adjust mobility devices and equipment, it may require some specific tools. Do you have a go kit for your service animals? Baby items and sensory items like fidgets or headphones to mute out noise. And finally, select a storage bin or a tote that can hold most of your stay kit items. Of course, emergency food and water might not fit into this container, which is expected as we ultimately want to have more than 72 hours or 3 days worth on hand. In fact, beyond 3 days of food and water, we recommend acquiring 3 weeks and then 3 months worth at a minimum if possible. It might take time to build up your emergency food and water supply, but don't let this stop you from starting now. Each time you go to the grocery store, buy some extra non-perishable food to save for emergencies. So, we got informed, made our plans, made our kits, and now it's time to stay informed. You'll want to monitor your emergency alert apps, your local news if available, and your emergency radio. The important thing is to stay informed. Approximately every 6 months or so, you'll want to review all of your kits and plans and update them if needed. Remember the following when storing your kits. 1. Liquid will freeze. Next, you want to keep batteries in a cool space. You want to make sure everything works and that food isn't spoiled and stored water stays fresh. Whether it's in a spare room, a closet, or a basement, be sure that wherever you decide to store your emergency supplies, that you can easily and safely access it at any time. Now, in addition to home emergency kits, get yourself a kit for each vehicle you own. If possible, get yourself an emergency kit for your workplace as well. FEMA recommends having enough food and water for every family member, coworker, or pet to last at least 72 hours. But again, we recommend beyond that to have at least 3 weeks worth and then 3 months worth if possible. Pick a place in your home to store your emergency kits that has the least amount of temperature fluctuations as possible, and it's as dry as possible. This will help preserve your items and keep them from spoiling. In order to remember your plans, you and your family must practice. We suggest practicing at least once every 6 months with your whole family. Make it fun. Put a reminder on your phone to practice. Now, emergencies are stressful, but if you have a plan and you are practicing, you'll be ready if and when an emergency takes place. Things to consider when reviewing your plan. Did you move? Did someone's phone number change? Reviewing your kits and plans on a regular basis will help ensure that all of the information and items in your kits are up to date. put a reminder on your calendar or on your phone. Let's go over your next steps. First, you'll want to register for Hero Kids if applicable and your local alert systems. You'll want to fill out your Go Stay Kit book or your notebooks. You'll want to know if you need additional support, identify people who could help you and your family with your plan, identify professionals and additional types of support you may need. You'll want to watch the CODSN emergency preparedness videos. You can access dozens of emergency preparedness resources from right here on the CODSN website. First, you'll navigate to codsn.org. From the main menu, under the Services tab, click on Emergency Preparedness. From there, you can open the Video Library here, or the Resource Center by clicking here. Now, we've broken down our list of resources by Get Informed, Make a Plan, Build a Kit, and so on. Under each tab, under the main topic, you will find a list of clickable resources, including websites and PDF documents. Now is the time to either get started on or improve on your emergency preparedness plans and kits. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when these will be needed. This concludes our Emergency Preparedness On-Demand training. Replay this as many times as necessary. Please watch our Emergency Preparedness video series and visit our Resource Center.